What's up, fight fans? And we're back at it with another one here at Round One Sports Talk. Let's talk about it in a minute. Let me get set up here. Make sure that I got everything that I need. In fact, um, uh, wait a minute. All right, so let's just let a couple people get in here before we get this started. Well, let's talk about it, people. What a fight last night. Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. And what this means. What's up, G? Jamie Boy 14. What's up, G? Well, in the landscape, in the grand schemes of things, and right now in boxing, with the Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight, look, I talked about a lot about this fight right here, right? And this fight was interesting in many different ways because I didn't know what version of Errol Spence Jr. was going to show up, right? So Terence Crawford did put on a good performance last night, and he did beat the brakes off of Errol Spence Jr., right? But I don't think that was the best version of Errol Spence Jr., you know what I'm saying? Being the fact that he was out, you know, since 2021, April 2021 was his last fight. So he didn't fight since 2000, April 21. That's 2 years. Coming off the car accidents and everything, you know, didn't help him. But since the car accident, it's good to note that he only fought 2 fights. That's all Errol Spence Jr. fought, were 2 fights. Now it was the best since Mike Tyson. Hey man, what's up? What's up, people? What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in right now. We're talking about the debate or who you think is gonna be and should be the pound for pound fighter in the world right now. And why. You know, because that's where the discussion is gonna lead to, you know. Um, did Terence Crawford do enough last night? Do you feel that he did enough to remain on the pound for pound list as the #1 fighter in the world? Or did Naoya Inoue's body of work qualify him to be in the #1 spot? You know, that's what a lot of people are wondering right now. Because, okay, let's not do hypothetical. And let's not do just opinion, right? Let's do what's on paper, facts, right? Let's just bring out the facts, right? Okay. And if we were to bring out just the facts, right? Naoya Inoue is on his 20th consecutive title fight, right? Okay. And in those 20 title fights, he knocked out 18 of those men. So out of 20 title fights, he knocked out 18. Out of the 20 title fights, 12 of them were world champions. So he fought 12 world champions, 20 consecutive title fights, and he knocked out 18 of them. Okay. Terence Crawford's body of work. Terence Crawford fought in 18 world championship fights. 18. You see what I'm saying? Now you only got 20. So And Terence Crawford just beat the best 147-pound champion in the world right now. So that's really big because if we were going to start to break it down, right? Okay, Terence Crawford faced, what was it, 12 world champions? So, their body of work is like, it literally is like right there. And then the type of performance that Terence Crawford put on last night, some of those shots he hit Aerospin Jr. were really sharp, Naoya on a best. Okay, we'll get to that. Do I think he can be good at 135? We'll get to that, right? Okay, but their body of work, Naoya Inoue's and Terence Crawford's, I mean, it's so similar, and it's gonna go down to, probably who you like better, in your opinion, right? But the slight edge in body of work, if we're being honest, like if you were to really just put their record, and I've done this, right? I was just on boxing records. Naoya Inoue's record is slightly better, right? But now that he just captured all four belts in two separate weight division, that kind of catapulted him there. But look, for argument's sake, I'm okay with that. If Naoya Inoue takes the second spot, hey, it is what it is. Terence Crawford's 35 years old. How many big more fights does he have in front of him? He can go up to move to 154 to fight the Charlo twins. One of the Charlo twins. He can have a rematch with here, or he can choose to fight, and they can finally give him a shot. Jerron Boots Ennis. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the Jerron Boots Ennis fight would probably, for me anyway, would be a better fight. You know what I'm saying? I would rather him see Terence Crawford fight Jerron Boots Ennis, because I really don't want to see him fight Errol Spence Jr. again. How many people want to see Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight again? Or to see him fight at either 147 or at 154? Because I kind of think it's going to be the same fight all over again. He made it look easy, didn't he? He made it look easy. I give you Crawford until he becomes undisputed. Then he jumped back into the number one spot. Yeah, that's what I believe. I believe Naoya Inoue was leading the way. You know what I'm saying? And one of my subscribers said it. You know what I'm saying? That Naoya Inoue has to work double. He has to put in double the work to get double the recognition. He has to work twice as hard, to get into that number one spot. And I'm in agreement with that. But the truth of the matter is that Naoya Inoue haven't had as many, big fights like Terence Crawford right now. And last night, it did jump him over. So, like I said, I can be okay with that, But, look, what this does is, now for Naoya Inoue in Top Rank Boxing, they are going to push this Tapales fight. It's crazy to think that, my last video, I was talking about this, and I was saying, man, Naoya was going to have to go for 3, and I was just joking around, bro. I was just kidding, right? But I started thinking about it. I was like, come on, man. You really think so? You think he could do this? Because, look, enticing a fighter like Tank Davis to come down to 130 is the ultimate fight for Naoya Inoue right now. Let me tell you that right now, okay? That would be a mega showdown if Tank Davis and Naoya Inoue met at like 130, because I think that Tank Davis would be enticed to fight a man like that. You got to understand that in the sport of boxing, when your ego's that big, right? And you're saying to yourself, man, I'm the best, right? Listen, at one point in time, Tank Davis got so cocky and arrogant that he even took to social media to say that he was better than Floyd Mayweather. And then he had to eat a piece of humble pie and back up. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to put in some work. You know what I'm saying? And Tank Davis, you know, if you want to be frank about it, he's beat some good fighters, but he's not a world champion. Tank Davis has the only world championship, if you want to be honest, if you want me to report the truth, and which I am, so I'm not being biased, so this is what I'm going to do. Tank Davis only has one real world title. That's it. He's only been a champion for the WBA at 130. He never held a world. He had a world title, an interim world title at 135 and at 140 when he beat the two Mexican guys. And he beat them for their interim belts, okay? So because the reason why Tank Davis doesn't have a belt at 135 is clear. Because Devin Haney, it has all four belts at 135. You know what I'm saying? So a massive showdown would be appealing for him because Devin Haney right now, let's keep in mind, he just, I think, and it's official, if I'm not mistaken, sources tell me that Regis Prograis and Devin Haney are going to meet at 140, okay? But he has not vacated the belts, okay? So he's going to go try his luck at that, right? And I believe that Devin Haney can beat Regis Prograis. He's going to beat him. And then he will look to unite with down the road with Teofimo Lopez. That's what I would do. And you got to watch out with that fight because that kid Teofimo Lopez, for some reason, in these mega fights, this guy shows up, and then against these lesser fights, he does like shit. You know, so I don't. You know, we'll get into that on a later date. But that's what that does, because if you look further up the landscape, it's going to kind of tell you where a fighter is at that time and if you can catch that fighter, right? And what I mean by that is if Devin Haney is moving in another trajectory this way and Tank Davis doesn't really have anybody to fight but Shakur Stevenson, right? One fight, Naoya Inoue can close out the year, 2023. He can close out the year right with him, and he can beat Tapales. From that Tapales fight, he could, in fact, you know, jump up to 130, but that would be a big freaking jump now with it 8 pounds. I mean, it wouldn't be that big, but I don't know. I don't know, but it's enticing to think about. You know what I'm saying? That you would, that would be a mega showdown right there. Tank Davis, and who do you think would win out of Tank Davis and Naoya Inoue, and why? Wait a minute, let me catch up to you guys a little bit here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think that. Hold on, I gotta catch up. Well, now check this out, guys. Check this out. All right, I'm reading some of your comments here. Hey, yo, thank you for being on the live stream. Shout out to everyone in the live stream. Shout out everyone who commented. Thank you for showing your support. Look, check this out. Donaire fought last night, and he lost, right? Okay. Ever since Naoya Inoue left the 118-pound division, there are 8 vacant belts in that division. The three belts that are picked up right now in the division is the guy that beat Donaire last night, right? Naoya Inoue's kid brother, and Jason Maloney. They own 3 of the belts now that Naoya Inoue vacated. You know, so they're scrambling for all Naoya Inoue scraps. You know what I'm saying? And let's talk about it now that we're here live. What did you guys see in the Naoya Inoue Stephen Kubo Fulton fight? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we heard a lot leading into the fight, right? And we heard it from all these channels and how a black American fighter was going to be Naoya Inoue's kryptonite. And I try to tell you guys, he's just another fighter. That's just another fighter. You know what I'm saying? And the way, the kind of performance that he put on, you know, he went in his Philly shell defense on it, and that's Fulton shit, and he went into it. So it went to show you what Naoya was willing to do that night. He was going to put on a show. There was a lot of things that went on in that ring. And Stephen Fulton, hats off to him for not just being a punching bag. I mean, the American came out and man, he tried everything. He tried everything, you know, but it was just Naoya Inoue's night. You know what I'm saying? And I see Stephen Kubo Fulton moving on to bigger and better things. I see him being a champion in the future. You know, I think that Stephen Kubo Fulton will probably challenge Brandon Figueroa. You know, because I don't really see any other mega fight around there for him. But, you know, hats off to him, and I wish him well. Naoya Inoue is like, right now, they said that he had 3 big fights right now. 3 fighters in his sights right now. And he wants to fight Tapales, but I don't see why should he fight MJ. Why should he stick around and give him an opportunity or something? You know, Naoya Inoue is not young. He's 30 years old right now. And we got to keep that into consideration, that it's kind of fucked up that Naoya Inoue had to do so much to get recognized. Because let's just keep this in mind, that Naoya Inoue came into boxing at the age of 19 years old. At 19 years old, he came in. By his 6th professional fight, he was already a champion. By his 8th, he was a 2-division champion. Within a year of coming out from 19 years old, turning pro, he was a champion, a world champion. So he started off fast. It's just that he didn't get a lot of recognition. He couldn't get a lot of big fights, and he had a lot of fights in Japan early on. You know, when he started coming out in the States, you know what hurt him the most? Just like any other athlete during the time, that corona epidemic. It's what set a lot of moments in sports backwards for us. And that we got to remember that that shit fucking took place. You know what I'm saying? And there's 30 people in here, man. Can we get these likes up? Do me a favor and hit the likes. You know what I'm saying? You know? So that corona epidemic went around, and that set a lot of things back, man. You know, I remember when he came down in to Madison Square Garden in New York City, and he fought Jason Maloney, and that was during the corona epidemic with no crowd. And he also came down and fought a Puerto Rican fighter during the corona epidemic as well, you know. But that right there, that took at least 2 years away from a lot of sports. You know what I'm saying? That right there, it took at least 2 years away from a lot of sports. So now Naoya Inoue is 30 years old. So every fight from here on in for Naoya Inoue has to make sense. It has to make championship sense, and it has to make dollars and cents. You know what I'm saying? For him to go. So that's why I say, you know, and as for Tank Davis, if you really think about his situation, right? What's Tank Davis about? Dollars and cents, right? Okay, the reason why I was bringing this fight up is because, okay, if you're not fighting for the belts and David Haney is fighting someone else, you know, what makes dollars and cents? So, you know, a future of that. And then Tank Davis is on social media, you know, giving Naoya Inoue props, in fact, and saying, man, fuck that. That dude is good. You know what I'm saying? And they asked him, would he fight him? And of course, what fighter in the world would turn around and say, nah, I'm not going to fight him? You know what I'm saying? Of course, you would say you would fight him. You know what I'm saying? You're talking to a superior athlete right there. So, of course, he's going to say that. But look, Naoya Inoue is a phenomenal fighter. Terence Crawford is a phenomenal fighter. When you inspect both of those fighters, you have to keep it in mind, their fight styles are not similar, right? What do you have? Naoya Inoue looks more polished. Terence Crawford can go righty, lefty when need be. He great ring IQ, great fundamentals. They both do the small things right. So like I said, I have respect for both fighters. And what do you guys think right now about the Charlo twins and Caleb Plant and him getting smacked like that? You know what I'm saying? The Charlo twin obviously is going through something in his life that we do not know about. Whatever's keeping you out of boxing for over 2 years, let's talk about it, people. Look at what happened to Errol Spence Jr. That was 2 years ring rust. He had like 5, 6 months of training, and he went in there, bro, and he looked bad. That man took a beating. I felt bad for Errol Spence Jr., man, because I know what that's like. What that's like to know that you're better. And you even heard him when he said it. He was like, I just couldn't turn it up. He just couldn't turn up when he wanted to in those moments like he used to, because it's not the same thing. And Errol Spence Jr., man, I tell you that, you know, he got a rude awakening, man. He got a rude awakening, and he got knocked out, man. And I feel bad for him, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Let me read some of these messages. The Monsters 88 knockout percentage, and Crawford's 80 and 78. Yes, he does. Um, Naoya, anyway, is he going to destroy Tapales? Tapales, one of the things about Tapales, right, is that Tapales is durable. That's what I see about Tapales. I see that Tapales is one of those fighters. Hey, check it out, right? Right? You ever see one of those fights, right, that you see the guy, obviously, man, this guy is skilled, man, and he's whooping this dude that's all night. He's like, let it just tagging him, right? And this dude is just coming forward with a thing, and he's just taking a beat, blah, 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 and he's throwing punches coming forward, too, as well, right? And it's kind of like Zab Judah. When Zab Judah, but see, the thing is that Zab Judah fight didn't go too long. That's why I didn't want to use that as a reference, but it was kind of like that. It was like where the guy was real skilled, more skilled. But when fighters can put that forward pressure like a Brandon Figueroa, that kind of pressure on some men can break them down. But Naoya Inoue is not most men. Naoya Inoue has enough power and enough skill to keep him at bay. And trust me when I tell you, if Naoya Inoue, if Tapales thinks that he's gonna just like, okay, I'm gonna get this pressure on Naoya Inoue, and I'm gonna like bulldoze him, right? Naoya Inoue today, right now, is in shape enough to give Tapales a 12-round ass whooping if need be. He will never catch up to Naoya Inoue ever, all night. He's going to be waiting the entire night to catch Naoya Inoue, and Naoya Inoue is going to make him look like, if he can just survive it, sustain it, because that's not saying that he's just not going to knock him out. My gut feeling tells me the fight's not going past 3 rounds. My gut feeling tells me the Tapales fight is not going past 3 rounds. That's what my gut feeling tells me. What actually happens, happens, but I don't think that Tapales, did you see how fat he looked? Did you see how fat Tapales looked when he came into the ring? Did you guys notice? Yo, his face was mad round, bro. Yo, Tapales looked like he was like 150, bro. Easy, right? So you could see that, like, Yo, man, I'm telling you, um, you can see, bro, that like Tapales needs already a fight. He wants to get back in, but also Tapales wants to get paid. You know what I'm saying? I don't, fighting Naoya Inoue is a mega fight now. That's like Naoya Inoue in Japan. He's revered like a superstar, global superstar. But you really want that Vegas money, and you want that worldwide notoriety. So fighting Naoya Inoue right now in the States, Tapales, would also give Tapales notoriety to win, lose, or draw. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big money fight. Top rank, they're going to get Tapales real cheap. They're going to get Tapales 10 cents to the dollar on Tapales. He's going to say yes to anything, man. That's fucked up, I bet. Right? Like, fucking Top Rank and Bob Aaron, they be robbing fighters, bro. Sometimes, yo, but then they pay out good sometimes to fighters too. It's an ugly business. It's opinionated. I don't know what goes on behind the scene. So anyway, um, yeah, yeah. If I don't really see anything Tapales really brings to the table except the pressure. I don't see anything that, I don't think he's faster than Naoya in a way. I don't think his twitch muscles are quicker. I don't think that his ring IQ is more superior. I don't think that he can fight off the back foot better, off the front foot better. I don't think he works the jab better. I don't think he goes down to the body better. So that's why I'm saying, I've already done all this inside of my head. I've already gone through everything that Tapales does, and then now we are also talking about probably one of the most superior fighters of our time. Okay, and that's why I say that Stephen Kubo Fulton and a lot of fighters that fought Naoya Inoue have nothing to be ashamed of or to hang their hat off, because at the end of the day, if this man takes this even further and he looks back on the career and Naoya Inoue ends his career undefeated and multiple division world champions, 5, 6 division world champions, and he looks back and he goes, well, my loss was to the greatest fighter of our fucking time. Who would you expect? At least it took that to beat me. At least Fulton can say, bro, it took that kind of man right there to whoop my ass. No one else did it, right? But yeah, you needed to go get him. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I think that Naoya Inoue is definitely going to get the 2 division. It's still in the back of my mind. Believe me when I tell you, this whole time I've been talking, all I've been wanting to say is, do you guys think he can get a fucking 3rd weight division, all 4 belts? Yes or no? Do you really think that's possible, man? Yo, bro, that's crazy, man. Just think about it, right? It took, because of the fact that the UFC put enough pressure on boxing, that the powers that be gave us all these super fights. Have you guys not noticed how many 4 belt division champions they are right now? Wow, what a coinkydink. Bro, everybody got 4 belts. They're just signing these fights away. Yup, I put my champion against yours. Yup. Devin Haney, the Charlo twins, Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, Naoya Inoue was one. You know what I'm saying? That's 6 guys. And within like a 3-year span, Josh Taylor. Come on, man. Listen, there were so many 4 belt eras. I need not to remind you guys of this. Okay? There was just an explosion of these promoters and people. They were just like, no, we got to put these fights together. And they started putting these fights together. And all of a sudden, you look up and everybody's got 4 belts. Devin Haney's got 4 belts. Naoya's got 4 belts. The Charlo twins got 4 belts. Canelo's got 4 belts. You're like, what the hell, right? So, being the fact that, yeah, man, I've been noticing a pattern where that it has been a lot easy to put together fights to unify all four belts, more now so than in the past. Yes. Okay. So and then when I start to think about it, and I'm like, man, wait a minute, he's got the skill and the capability to do it. Now, do I think that his power and his speed is going to transition? Absolutely. There is just no doubt. This is his fourth weight division. And when you are like in the middle or above what you thought you were going to exceed as, as an athlete, and you're still the same person, it's fair to say he's going to bring his power, his technique, and his style. And I keep repeating this, right? Even if he moves up just like a fighter like Floyd Mayweather. Now, Floyd Mayweather was handicapped by his kryptonite. And Floyd Mayweather's kryptonite were his hands. They used to break all the time. If you go back and watch Floyd Mayweather's earlier fights, his like first 16, 17 fights, he was brutal. He was like a Naoya Inoue. He was knocking everybody out. He was vicious. But he got tired of putting shots in his hands and trying to get his hands fixed after every fight. So what he did, he developed a strategy of a defense. He evaded shots and gave you what he wanted and evaded back. So he took away his power, right? And he beat you on pure skill and ability, right? Okay. That's what I'm saying. If Naoya Inoue, you take away his power, I mean, these people talk like this guy is not a skilled boxer. He is a skilled boxer. So, he's going to do well. He's going to do well. Because, do you want to get hit with that little fucking hammer all night? Or just get it one time and get knocked out and get it over with? Because you're gonna keep getting smashed with that power all night. I don't give a fuck what weight it is. The man hits hard. Period. The man hits hard. You know what I'm saying? And let's talk about that too, right? They're both number one for the... man, I gotta catch up. Wow. Oh my God, you guys are writing so fast. 120 pounds. Okay, yes. Who's the best at 130 right now? Okay, interesting enough. Do you remember that Dominican fighter that Tank Davis fought, Hector Luis Garcia? He is he's a 130-pound champion for the WBA right now. Okay, he has a WBA or IBF. It's one of those, right? Okay, so he's a champion there. Do you think that guy can beat Naoya Inoue right now? I think he could take his belt, right? And he'll be a champion in that division. See, there at 130 right now. Matter of fact, let's answer this question because in Round One Sports Talk, we ain't fucking lying here, man. We're just going by facts, and I'll just go to Boxing Record, and I will look that shit up, okay? And we will find out definitive together right here who is the champion at 130 pounds, okay? Now, as a matter of fact, I have all the champions right here already. What a coincidence, right? Okay, you can ask me whatever champions who and what division and what belts are vacated. I'll get it right now, no problem. Okay, so the 130-pound weight division, that's 140, that's 135, and this is 140. 140, yeah. Hector Luis Garcia is the WBA world champion right now at 130. Okay, the IBF world champion is Joe Cardini, right? So he's the IBF world champion, right? Yes, he is, right? Okay. Now who? Okay, and then Hector has the WBA. Who has the WBC? The WBC world champion right now, Foster for the American, Shakur Foster, is the WBC 130-pound champion right now. So Foster, could he beat Foster, Hector Luis Garcia, or Joe? And then the WBO champion right now is a Mexican, Emmanuel Navarrete. Emmanuel Navarrete is the 130 WBO. So Emmanuel Navarrete, Hector, Luis Garcia, Foster, and Joe are the champions at 130. Those are the fighters at 130 Naoya Inoue would have to fight. Those are the current champions right now. Do you think any of those guys right now could beat Naoya Inoue? Fuck Tank Davis, like you guys said. Just who is the champion right now at 130? Those are the four champions at 130 right now that Naoya Inoue would have to face. So, you know, Navarrete, I know he ain't beating. I don't. He's durable, but no. Hector Luis Garcia is not beating Naoya Inoue. Joe is not beating Naoya Inoue, the Brit fighter, and Foster, the American. That could be an interesting fight. Foster, he's lengthy. He's lengthy. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty quick. He's pretty quick. But nah. Naoya Inoue can conquer all four belts in that division at 130 pounds, if that's what you're thinking right now. It's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Prove me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Tell me that Foster's going to whoop his ass. Yeah, dude. Foster has power. He does. He does. But Naoya Inoue has power. You know what I'm saying? Does he have Foster kind of power? Foster, I mean, 130, those guys were even bigger than the guys at 122. Now, was it me? Was I the only person? But Stephen Kubo Fulton didn't look like the bigger man in that ring. He didn't look like the bigger man in that ring at all. When Stephen Fulton and Naoya Inoue were in the ring and they were moving around, I was having a hard time noticing, wait a minute, who the fuck is the bigger guy here? So he fitted in just right. Speed kills. Jamie Boy says speed kills. Who's the best I want to have? Yeah, he's great. He's pretty good. I'm not sure that Prowse has the defense to block a net. I'm not sure if he has that kind of defense neither. I don't think Tapales has the kind of defense to evade and the kind of speed. You know what's really unique about Naoya Inoue is that first step. That first step is a lot to deal with Naoya Inoue. When he takes that first step, as you can see in Stephen Kubo Fulton, in the beginning of the fight, there was a foot battle, and even the referee had to come in and was like, yo, warn them about the feet, like knock it off, right? But both fighters like, man, fuck that. We trying to get our feet established because they wanna try to like win that oversight. Now, if you go back and you watch Naoya Inoue's second round against Stephen Kubo Fulton, you watch that first step from Naoya Inoue. It's a lot. He's got like a leap and then he put it on the outside of his foot like fast. It was like he knew exactly where he was stepping. It's like he's trained so well. He is such a fine-tuned machine. He doesn't have to think about shit. It just looks like he is just flowing. And when that first step and the speed that he got, that he's up on a person, I can imagine how overwhelming that is because let me tell you something. I don't know what the hell that Stephen Kubo Fulton told his coach in the second round, but I can imagine he was thinking like any other fighter that fought this guy. He was like, yo, this guy is for real. He's the real deal. And this speed is the real deal and shit, and the power. Like I watched the fight so much that I wanted to see what exactly was the first punch he hit him that Fulton was like, you know, holy shit, right? And I try to like look at it to really see. But sometimes it's those little short punches, the little short ones, right? That it doesn't look like much, but it's heavy. It's heavy. And that last well, not the last punch, but the last punch before he dropped him the first time when he hit him. If you go back and you look at that punch, you're gonna notice that Naoya Inoue laid off the punch. He laid off of it. You know what I'm saying? And if he wanted to, he could have followed through with that punch and really hurt Fulton. You know, but when he hit him with enough. I just gonna drop you, and I'm gonna back up off of it. And let's talk about the respect in Japan. Hats off to those people in Japan, man, and how they held the fight. If you didn't notice, okay, when Stephen Schoolboy Fulton was announced, the entire arena stood up and applauded. They treated that man with respect out there. Yeah, when he lost and he came out the ring, it was nothing but applause and everything. Backstage, flowers, roses, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Not like the good old America, USA. Man, we would have been like, man, fuck you, yeah! We'd have been drunk in Vegas, throwing beer, you know what I mean? Freaking, we're ruthless, right? And but at the same time competitive, you know what I'm saying? You know how we are. We brashy, cocky and shit, right? So it's like out there, you know, they did treat him good. It wasn't like he had like a lot of people were saying, you know, he's going out there daring to be great, fighting in the backyard. Naoya in a way has home field advantage. And I understand when they say that, you know, but you know, it didn't like, it's not like it really played out so, you know what I'm saying? Like they were booing him, you know, and they were really being disrespected and they were giving you a taste of real home field advantage. It wasn't on no shit like that. That's what I'm saying. So kudos to Japan. They, they, they kept it classy and they treated the man right. You know what I'm saying? And he went back to the United States with 2 belts lighter. But yeah, he went back to the United States, you know what I mean? So yeah, let me read some of these comments here. His jab was Mayweather is no longer. Well, you couldn't compare the two. Terence Crawford and Mayweather, first of all, they're in 2 different eras, right? You know, so Mayweather's not registered as a pound for pound fighter. Okay, all right. So now that Terence Crawford took the throne, you know, it's Terence Crawford's era. You know what I mean? I would. There's a lot of fighters you could compare and to. We'll be sitting here opinionating, picking straws all day. You know what I'm saying? You know, because is it me? But I saw Dante Wilder at the Errol Spence fight, and Dante Wilder needs to get his ass back in the fucking gym and try to get us one of them piece of them heavyweight titles because we own none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? The freaking Usyk is fighting this dude and Fury and his antics. Oh my God, Fury! That is just. He is just a spectacle, that man, and he has a lot of talent. And honestly, without being biased, he's a fucking great heavyweight champion, bro. You know what I'm saying? If I wasn't being biased, if I looked past all the things that he does outside of the ring, and I just look at his body of work inside of the ring, Tyson Fury, for a man that size, is a pretty fucking good, that damn fucking heavyweight champion, bro. He is amazing. You know what I mean? So, besides all that, I have to give him credit for what he does. And that's what I do here at Round One Sports Talk. You know what I'm saying? I just care about what you do inside the ring and what you're doing. You know, I care about what the fighters do outside of the ring. Don't get me fucked up, because I preached about that shit with Errol Spence Jr. And Errol Spence Jr. is waking up, you know, to all his demons, to all the arrows of his ways, right? He's waking up, and all that shit, all that partying, lamp life, everything, it caught up to him. It caught up to him. And he knew he had to take this seriously. And no matter how much his heart was in it, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to like go out to that ranch and really like cement himself in that lifestyle and really change his ways, you know. But I think that car accident really did a lot to him. You know, there's something obviously we don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, he didn't look the same. And where does this stand for everything inside of boxing? Well, as of right now, as of this morning, Errol Spence Jr. has 30 days to respond to the rematch. If he doesn't put it in, then there will be no rematch. Then I can kind of tell you what they're going to do after that. Yeah, Errol Spence Jr. said he will never fight at 147 again. So we could just forget about him fighting at 147. Terence Crawford went on and said he will entertain the fight at 154, right? Okay, here's the problem with that. At 154, there's no belts on the line. Okay, because neither of them are the 154-pound champion. And you just can't take the belts from 147 and carry them upstairs with you and be like, hey, we'll fight up here for the belts. At this, no, it doesn't work that way, Papa. You know what I'm saying? Them belts got to stay at 147. You know what I'm saying? So if they were to running back, it would be for no titles at 154. Does that make dollars and cents? I mean, Errol Spence Jr. can get his revenge, beat him, but for no belts. You know what I mean? So that's why I think Errol Spence Jr. should leave Terence Crawford alone for a year or two, and fight something else. But by then, 35, 36, 37, he'll be 37. He'll be 37 years old. I think Errol Spence Jr. should get a couple more fights in, and then maybe think back about fighting him, even if he catches a piece of a title at 154. Who knows what's going to go. So the Charlo twin, he looks big as shit. You know what I'm saying? He's getting ready to fight Canelo Alvarez. And I'm going to tell you something about boxing, okay? Listen, Canelo Alvarez is not stupid. And I want you guys to understand this. Canelo Alvarez knows exactly what he's doing. Him and his team, they went and asked the other Charlo twin for the fight first, the one that was out for the 2 years, right? Because they knew that he would have ring rust and he would come in looking like a version of Errol Spence Jr., you know what I mean? So what they did, the other brother came in and was like, nah, bro, but check this out. I'll fight you, and I'll jump up 2 weight classes to fight you. So Canelo Alvarez is like, you're going to jump up 2 weight classes to fight me. Bet, word, and slap, boom. You got to fight, right? He ain't stupid, man. So, but I think that the Canelo Alvarez is at the end of his career. Okay, I think he's starting to slow down just enough that even if the Charlo twin had to jump up, how many times have we seen smaller guys jump up to fight a much bigger guy, and then the bigger guy knocks him out? Case in point, Canelo Alvarez did that to how many fighters already? I mean, that's his fucking MO. You know what I'm saying? You look down the list of fighters that Canelo Alvarez fought. All people either weight drained or moving up 2 or 3 divisions to come fight him. That's what the fuck he does. Haven't you not noticed a pattern? He makes them come up so much, or he'll drain a fighter out so much and then knock him out. That's what he does. That's his MO. And he did the same thing. Currently doing the same thing to the Charlo twin. That's exactly what he's trying to do to him. But I think that Charlo twin, you know what I'm saying, he could fight. He could fight. I think he could take a good punch. I think he has a great jab. I think when he needs to mix it up, he can. He has shown that when he needs to bite down on the mouthpiece, he can. And he's also shown that he can carry his power in the later rounds. Okay? So, although, look, there's no perfect fighter in the world. So let's just forget about this notion about us viewing this fighter that is so superior that we're just going to see no flaws. Every fighter has flaws. Okay? So, that just stands to be a good match in itself. The Charlo twin against Canelo Alvarez, man, come on, man. Yeah, and I think that if the Charlo twin knocks him out, that might be the last time we see Canelo Alvarez, right? But fuck around, Canelo Alvarez wins the fight. This old ass motherfucker is gonna keep going. You know what I mean? Holding up the division. You know what I mean? So look, that's a real interesting fight right there. Now Devin Haney has offered to fight Regis Prograis. I brought that up earlier, and he's going up. And in that direction right there, with Teofimo Lopez also being the WBO champion, you know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez, that motherfucker's delusional, bro. He was like all over social media claiming that he's the first champion to ever become he's the first person to ever become a 4 division belt holder in 2 separate weight division. And his argument is that Lomachenko had all 4 belts, right? That Devin Haney didn't have the WBC, that his WBC was no good. But the franchise belt that Lomachenko had, we should count that one, according to Teofimo Lopez, right? Okay. So he just beat Josh Taylor, and I gotta give him that. You can't take that away from him. And Josh Taylor had all 4 belts, but he was stripped of 3 of the belts. So when they met, he only fought him for the WBO, right? Okay. But technically, Josh Taylor was the undefeated, unified, all 4 belt, holding all 4 belts, right? Okay, at the 140, right? Right? So when he beat him, his claim is, well, Josh Taylor was never dethroned, and he had all 4 belts. And that green belt that Lomachenko had is still a WBC belt, so technically that's all 4 belts. So wait a minute, I'm the first man that won all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. It doesn't work that way, Teofimo Lopez. It doesn't work that way. Just because you say so. Listen, morally, yo, my man, I get it. I get what you're saying. Morally. You know what I'm saying? But what's real and what's going to be written in the histories of the Hall of Fame, you didn't win all 4 belts off Josh Taylor. You only won the WBO, bro. Face reality. Come to terms with it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you didn't fight him in time enough when they stripped him. This shit happens, bro. You know what I'm saying? But Teofimo Lopez is not the first man. Terence Crawford was honored to and received that belt. Did you? I'm not sure if any of you guys caught it, but they made him a belt for being the first man to do such a feat, legitimately. Like, he has the belts to prove it. You know what I'm saying? And then I didn't know this. Right? But I was under the impression that all sanctioning bodies, right, in boxing, they're multi-million-dollar businesses, right? And if you notice during the press conference, Errol Spence Jr., right, he had the WBA, right? And there was a plate missing the whole time out of his belt, and which kind of like made the belt look, and I was like, man, they should fix that, right? So he didn't give a fuck, right? Because he's in his own thing, or whatever. So I noticed that at the end of the fight, they put those exact belts on Terence Crawford. And the people I was watching the fight with said, wait a minute, yeah, he beat him, he took Errol Spence Jr.'s belts. And I goes, no, they give him new ones. He goes, no, he has his belt, because look, the thing is missing. And I was like, holy shit balls, you're right. How the fuck is you gonna give me his old belts, Errol Spence Jr.'s belts? You're gonna give me those belts in the middle of the ring when I'm the first man in boxing history to win all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions, and tonight is gonna be a big night, and you're giving me his belts? You're a multi-million-dollar business. I want brand new, fresh belts in boxes right there, bro. I would have took those belts. I'd have been like, yo, bro, I want brand new belts. Are you crazy? So, I was sitting there, I was like, no. And he had Errol Spence Jr.'s belts. So I kept watching. And later on, in the post-fight thing, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, when they were done talking, Terence Crawford gave him back all his belts. And they show it. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, shit. And he just used those belts, I guess, in the moment. And on some warrior shit, maybe, he was like, You got me for my real belts here, and he used them for the moment, and then the organizations had real belts, you know. So I guess in the moment, like Derek James's corner and them, I guess, conceded, yo, you beat us, and he gave them the belts. I don't know how the fuck that happens, because usually, you know, when you're coming down in the ring with your squad, they got your belts behind you, and you guys start fighting. At some point, somebody's putting those belts back in these briefcases. Any belt comes in a silver briefcase. When you win it, that's what you travel with it. You know what I'm saying? When you're traveling, that's what you put in it. And you win, let's say, the WBC, right? When they give you a WBC belt, it's brand new in a fucking silver suitcase, right? So while they're fighting, who the hell didn't put the belts in the suitcase? And who the hell handed his belts over to Terence Crawford's side? Because that's what I would have to take place. Because each organization and the representator for those belts were there on hand in that fight. Each of them. You notice how when Naoya Inoue won, the WBC quickly ran up and they made him put on his shirt and the hat. They were like, here, put on the shirt, put on the hat, WBC. That's the green belt, right? So every organization wants to represent their belt into the fullest, you see? So that's what I meant. I was like, wait a minute. How the fuck does he got on them old belts that Errol Spence Jr. has been carrying around from his house to wherever he went with those belts on? All press conference, he's been dragging those belts around. Bro, I'm just saying, I just made history. I want brand new belts wrapped around me. Listen, they got a heart. Listen, that's all I was saying. You know what I'm saying? I want some brand new shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you might want Errol Spence's actual belts on you. Maybe you feel different about it. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm just saying, I would want some new ones. Well, wait a minute. Let's see here. Yeah. Well, oh, well, yeah. Let's talk about it. Shit. Or, you know, Fulton's supposed to be on the pound for pound list. He's top 5. He's this. He's that. Now you're in a way. Whap, whap, whap. Fulton. Crickets. Crick, crick. Pound for pound list. Crick, crick. Yo. Hey, and Fulton's like, me over here. Yo, listen. Come on, man. He was always, from what we have as active fighters today, he deserves to be on the list, much down the list, but not in the top 5. You know what I'm saying? Like they were talking about, they were screaming and saying all this crazy shit. No, he don't belong in no top 5 spot. You know what I'm saying? Look, let me say something to you right now. We are all here together. Yo, wait, hold up. It's 48 people in the live. Let's get these likes up. Can we get a little bit of like it? Hit them like buttons. Alright? Terence Crawford. What? No. Well, that would be crazy to think about. Terence Crawford knocks out Naoya in a way. I mean, they would never, ever, ever meet. They just, Terence Crawford's just too big of a guy, right? But there has been a lot of people that said, and I've heard this on social media and in a lot of other different places, but because of the fact that the guys up there are bigger, that qualifies them to being better on the pound for pound list, because Terence Crawford's just bigger. Well, I'm here to tell you, the original reason why they invented the pound for pound list was to give the smaller guys credit. You know, and the original pound for pound list, no heavyweight could be on the pound for pound list, the original one. Now, throughout the courses of the years, many people's interpretation of the pound for pound list has changed, and a lot of people that have a lot of power and influence in boxing, by them coming on and saying it, once they said it out their mouth, they knew that they can either lower the bar or the standard to get their fighter in, or the fighter that they were promoting. You know, if you can get a great fighter like a Mike Tyson, a Roy Jones, a Vander Holyfield, some of those old Lennox Lewis, some of those old legends to get on, and don't you think that the powers that be won't give them a little bread to go and say, hey, say this about the pound for pound list, and this is what a qualification of how you should get on. But I'm really here to tell you the truth. Pound for pound doesn't actually mean pound for pound. What the pound for skill, but skill for skill didn't sound as right. So they named it pound for pound, right? Okay. Now, what they did was to be measured, their measuring stick for the pound for pound, they had to break it down in a few, the few skilled qualifications. You had to meet these qualifications to be in the category. Okay. So once you met those qualifications and you were in a category, we try to like break it down. Who is the best fighter in the world? And they developed it because the heavyweight champion of the world was already getting worldwide recognition, but they needed a way to for the viewers to set eyes on the lower divisions, right? So pound for pound great fighters such as Sugar Ray Leonard, you know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, you know, Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. Um, you had a lot of good pound for pound. Roy Jones Jr. He was a pound for pound champion for a very long time. But after the pound for pound list started giving boxers star-like status, it started creating jealousy amongst the other boxers. And the heavyweight champions were saying, wait a minute, we're the fucking heavyweight champion. We need to be on that list. And somewhere down the line, someone with a good, with a lot of power in boxing came out and said, the heavyweight champion, ESPN, the worldwide leading in sports. They are the biggest entity in boxing sports right now. And if they said it, well, then damn it, it's true because ESPN said it. And if they came out and said that the heavyweight champion was now on the pound for pound list, it was just history from there. You see what I'm saying? And that's how politics works. Whenever they want to get something in, to you know what I'm saying, to cause an agenda, all they need, the powers that be. Hey, Mike, say something. Hey, Lennox, say something. Hey, this, and then all of a sudden the pound for pound structure fucking fluctuates. When the truth is, it's based off skill. Can your fighter fight a lefty, a righty, a south, you know what I'm saying, an unorthodox fighter? Can he fight a short guy, a tall guy? Can he successfully move up through divisions? And, you know what I'm saying? But moving up through divisions wasn't one of the specifications. See, right there, even I'm caught sometimes. It wasn't one of the specifications. It didn't matter if you moved up in weight. It didn't matter how many belts you had neither. What mattered was what you did in your fights and how you shut it down. Can you beat your opponent at their own game and shut them down? Just for a case in point, shit, Naoya Inoue just did that. He beat Cuban Steven Kubo Fulton at his own game. He went in his own Philly shell defense and whooped his ass. So much, in fact, in an impressive fashion, that he didn't even win one round. And shit, let's talk about him. He didn't win one round. When is the last time Naoya Inoue lost a round in professional boxing? Trivial question. Can anybody answer me that? Can anybody answer me in this lobby right now? When is the last time Naoya Inoue lost one round? Can anybody tell me what fight it was in? And what round it was, if you're that good? When was it? He lost an average of zero rounds. You are correct. You are correct. You are correct. Huh? I got I got to remember. Yes, you are correct. VH, what's up? Yo, shout out to everybody in here. I think maybe the Donaire won when he got his orbital bone broken. Well, even in that fight, and look, let's talk about it. This is how the judging system works. Okay, everybody, we all assume, yeah, there's three judges and they blah blah blah. But let's think about it, right? Okay, the points, the rounds are scored on a 10-point system. Meaning, if you win the round, they're gonna give you 10 points, and they give the other guy 9 points for losing the round, right? If you were to knock him down, you will get 10 points, and they would give the guy 8 points. Okay, all right. But here's the problem with that. When one referee is scoring the round, he's giving 10 points to Donaire for winning the round for fracturing his orbital bone, right? That one judge. So he gave him 10-9 to Naoya Inoue. The other judge said, you know what? Even though he fractured his orbital bone, I think Naoya Inoue outpointed him. So he gives him 10-9. You see? So and then the other judge goes out and says, I think that Naoya Inoue did enough to win the round. I'm going to say that that round was a draw, 10-10. And he gives it a 10-10. That's what I mean. And that's what happens. So technically, Naoya Inoue has not really lost an average-wise in his career. On average, he has lost a grand total of 0 rounds. And statistically, they did it. Yeah, yeah. The Donaire too. When Donaire had the blueprint to beat Naoya Inoue the second time, did you guys see the blueprint? How'd that work out? Masterful blueprint, by the way. I mean, it was flawless, right? You got knocked out. Had there been 10 more seconds in that first round, Naoya Inoue finishes him in that first round. Had there been 10 more seconds, okay? So, um, the the blueprint didn't work, okay? So yeah, look, I don't remember what other fight he had problems. The Jason Maloney, Jesus, that was a shutout. He just shut out Stephen Kubo Fulton. The fight before Jason Maloney, who the fuck was it? Was that in was that against that kid, that Puerto Rican fighter, Nervez, where that his coach threw in the towel? He also pitched a shutout in that fight. He pitched a shutout in the Rodriguez fight. He pitched a shutout in the McDonald fight. He pitched a shutout in the Piano fight. He pitched a shutout. Listen, I can't remember the last time that kid lost a round, bro. Naoya Inoue. But you better believe that every fight from here on in is gonna needs to make dollars and cents. It really does. Okay, what do I got here? I still can't believe his jab and defense. It's unfair to give. What? It's unfair to give. Yeah. Donnell was the only one to give him problems, but you got to remember about that, the back history to that. Okay, check this out, guys, right? If you didn't know, first of all, there's 60 people in this live stream, and we got 34 likes. Can we get the likes up? Can we hit some of these likes, people? Thank you. Okay, first of all, Donaire gave him the most trouble, but you got to understand one thing about that, right? As Donaire was a young champion, he was like a 3-division champion at the time. He was already a 3-division champion by this time. And Donaire was on a pound-for-pound list and as an established champion already. When he used to come into the gym and tutor a young Naoya Inoue. Okay? He kind of took Naoya Inoue under his wing. right? And Naoya Inoue learned how to throw that left hook just like Donaire. Donaire lived on that side of the world with Naoya Inoue, okay? So in their circle, in their gyms, they ran into each other a lot. Sometimes boxers leave their gym and they venture out to other gyms to get better sparring partners and better, acclimated with the sport because you can't just keep fighting the guys in your gym. So where they branched out in their circle, young Naoya Inoue and Donaire met each other for a very long time. They sparred against each other. They worked with each other. He saw that kid coming up the ladder. Donaire knew exactly who Naoya Inoue was. You have to understand that. So by the time he fought him, he knew Naoya Inoue like a glove. And that's why I think he had the most success against Naoya Inoue because he was that close to him. There's even, you know what I'm saying? So he knew so much. But the second time they met, Naoya Inoue didn't respect him as much. And he took those winning gloves off and he fought him with them horsehair gloves. See, go look at those shots, bro. He just shifted the shoulder. And Donaire was on the floor, bro. And that's what happened. I love the Donaire fight. Really increase his body. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, it was probably one of the greatest fights that Naoya Inoue, or the best challenge he had up to date. There's a lot of times that Naoya Inoue is inside of the ring and he's fighting against these guys. And am I the only one that notices this? He looks bored in there. I mean, he was like starting to do things that uncharacteristic, like as a Japan fighter. He has to come out of his character. He's over here like going like this to Paul Butler. Yo, come on. Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Hey, did you guys see that when Fulton hit him and he went like this? He did kind of look like Bruce Lee with, like, come on. He told him, that's all you got? That's all you got, Papa? He hit him like that. He looked at Fulton anyway. Come on, that's all you got. Come on. Hey, yo. And Naoya Inoue looks like he hasn't had that fight, or that he hasn't been in that fight since the Donaire fight to really challenge him. I believe he's at a point of his career where that he truly stands on one side of the ring on each fight from here on in, and he's going to ask himself that question: are you the one? And I believe it's just going to be like this. Hang. No, you're not. Because I don't really see anybody, unless there's a kid out there right now coming up, preparing, because there's always that kid. Naoya Inoue is 30 years old. There are a lot of Japanese fighters right now, and if you want, I can look it up. And in the lower divisions right now, there are currently, I believe, 6 Japanese fighters that are making a noise for themselves. There are currently 3 Japanese champions right now, world champions. Interim champions, there's a couple of them. I think there's 5, 6 if you want to count the interim belt ones. I really don't count interim belts. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I know that they're a belt. You know what I'm saying? And if I ever won an interim belt, I would be a fucking world champion, wouldn't I? Man, listen, you couldn't rip that belt out of my hand. But I have to go by the standards of what, the qualifications are, and world titles is all I accept. If the boxing people that make the interim belts themselves, like the WBC, for example, they make the WBC gold, right? And you go ahead and you win that, right? When you win the WBC gold, and let's say you decide to retire, when you go to walk into the Hall of Fame, the alarms are gonna go off. They're gonna be like, not a real champion. That's an interim belt. We'll give you acknowledgement for it, but there will be an asterisk next to your name, and it would say interim belt. There hasn't been an interim belt in the history of any sport that was ever considered the real champion. You know what I'm saying? You know, until he beats the champion, you're not the champion. So that's why I don't accept them. They're just, great for the thing. But look, as of right now, okay. So as of this morning, they updated boxing records so much, in fact, that they already have Terence Crawford listed as the 147-pound champion right now. If you was to go onto boxing record right now, it's there. I'm actually on it. Look, wait a minute. How about this? I'll actually show it to you because I could do that, right? Okay. Look, on my computer, on boxing record, they already have Terence Crawford. Look, the IBF champion, the Super WBA, the WBC, and the WBO. So this is coming from its most recent update. The most recent update. So boxing record is up to date, right? Okay. This is up to date. Currently, right now, like I said, there are one Shinguna. I'm gonna screw these guys' names up. Man, I should have thought about this one, right? Amazingly, both these guys are from Japan. They both have two different titles. One has the WBC and one has the IBF. They're both interim champions. They both have the same last name, but they're both not the same name. And I'm not going to even try this, okay? Because I'm just going to screw that up. But they're at 105 pounds. There are two Japanese champions, but they're both interim champions. And then at the 112-pound, Kisato Tirgaira. I can't say these guys' name. He is the Super WBA champion, right? And he is the WBC champion. Those are real world titles. Those are real world titles. So he has two belts there. And then I believe at 118, they have no fighters at 118. I'm sorry, at 112, 105, 108. So it was 108, 105, then 108. Yeah, I had skipped a division. My fault. Yeah. So right now, 118. Wait a minute. So that's 118. So 118. So there's one champion in 118. That's Naoya Inoue's kid brother that he just picked up the WBA. And then there's there's two fighters at super flyweight. There's no fight at flyweight. At light flyweight, there's one champion when he has two belts, and at the lightest weight possible at the end, there's two champions. So Japan at the lighter divisions are coming up, and there are a lot of champions there that are threatening. And one of them, which was we all saw, was Junto Nakatani. I know I'm killing his name. I'm freaking killing them. I'm bad at the names. I hear it all the time, right? But wow, that knockout. I think that's going to be knockout of the year. He brutally knocked out Jason Maloney's twin brother, Andrew Maloney. And so, like I said, there's a lot of potential fights up in the horizon. And let's see what you guys are talking about here. Oh, it was a scary knockout. That was a scary knockout. And the way he said Andrew Maloney to come in, he dug down to his level. Listen, he dug down to Andrew Maloney's level. And when he went to fake like this, he let him fake. It was just a pure setup. You don't get hit shots like that, big punches like that in boxing usually. He had Andrew Maloney punch drunk. When Andrew Maloney was walking, he was just walking towards him on pure will and guts, and he was already a beaten fighter. He was coming forward. He was probably like still dazed, and he was like, "Which way did he go?" And he switched levels on him, dropped down on his shoulders, came across and just overhand shot it like that. It was perfectly placed. It was launched, and you better believe that punch was planned. You know what I'm saying? And he just leveled him. In order to beat that kind of knockout, someone's gonna have to knock out someone pretty bad. Knockout of the year. I mean, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. That was a stoppage. He didn't technically knock him out, so I don't think that that's gonna qualify. Fight of the year. I don't think that the Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. should be nominated for yeah, it could be nominated for the fight of the year, but it was so one-sided. You know, a fight has to entail two guys fighting. You know what I'm saying? You actually have to be giving me a fight in order, not because of the magnitude of the fight, not because the fight was so big itself. You know what I'm saying? You know, I understand the size of the fight. I'm not talking about that aspect. I'm talking about the fight itself, what took place inside the ring. And that was just a one-sided beatdown. You know what I'm saying? So, who do you guys think would be like the so far was the best fight all the way up until this point? Who is the best fight? Now, remind you, we saw Tank Davis twice against Ryan Garcia and Hector Wright Garcia. We saw Devin Haney and Lomachenko. We saw, you know, there's a couple other fighters that we got to throw in there. Jerron Boost Ennis, he put on a great performance. Ghost Markin, not so much. Anthony Joshua also fought this year already. You know, Teofimo Lopez, that performance he put on against Josh Taylor. That was a great performance. You know, Teofimo Lopez, outside of what, you know, how he runs his mouth outside of boxing, what he did in the ring, I got to give him credit for that. So, like, what was the best fight so far? Who had the best fight all the way up until last night? What was the best fight so far? Yeah. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You know what? And I'm not being biased here. And I'm not being biased here, but look, the storyline behind the Terence Crawford fight, I have to admit, is just 5 years too late, right? And the fact that Errol Spence Jr., we really didn't know what kind of version we were going to get. What we were most hopefully expecting were who they once were as fighters. And we were hoping that those two versions collided. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But if I had to be honest, right, Stephen Kubo Fulton was supposed to be Naoya Inoue's kryptonite. It was supposed to be his greatest challenge up to date. They were saying all his accolades and his achievements, it was all riding on the fact for Naoya Inoue to come out and shut him down like that. I mean, look, Stephen Kubo Fulton was an undefeated champion, you know, and he's moving up to his weight. It's not like he challenges to fight him, right? That for as fight of the year, like, I mean, but some of those knockdown, drag out brawls are probably going to come into factor there. They were, I can't remember who. I would have to look some of this shit up right now. Who I think this so far this year has the best fight. I just don't want to blur out anybody because it's who I have fresh. And there's probably a fight out there I'm not remembering right now. So I'll get back to you on that one. I'll get back to you on that one. I want to see who, you know what I'm saying? John Ryder, he was moving and talking bad. What? What happened here? What did I miss? Spencer, okay, seemed to. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the build up to the fight. I know that the fight, the magnitude, yeah, it's big. But the fight itself, how good was the fight itself? That's what I'm questioning. I'm questioning who had the better fight. I mean, the Tank Davis fights, he for God's sake, man, he made Hector Garcia say he was blind. Remember that shot? I can't see. I can't see. Yo, he hit him so hard. You know, um, and he hit the other Garcia with a good body shot, but that fight wasn't like skill for skill because you could see how green Ryan Garcia was. He wasn't really prepared for that fight, but now he needs, we'll see what happens in the future with him. So as of right now, man, now I'm not even being biased. Unless I can't remember something right off the bat, the Naoya Inoue is, oh, wait a minute, fight of the year is Junto Nakatoni. But I mean, did Andrew Maloney give him a fight? How good was the fight? See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. How good was the fight itself? So that is something I'm gonna look up. Well, listen, fight fans, look, guys, we've been here for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Let me read through some of these. Let me read through some of the. Wait. In a way, remains. Mark. Oh, wait. Let's see here. Opponents at 126. 126 right now. Okay, that's 118. That's 20. Right now in 126, Brandon Figueroa is the WBC interim champion, right? Ray Vargas is the WBC world champion, and the global champion is some Chinese. I don't even know what this flag is, but it's Yu Chi Lee, right? Okay, and then the WBO champion. See, they got so many damn belts. Okay, so the interim IBF champion is vacated. The interim IBF world champion is Luis Lopez. The IBO, that's not even a freaking belt. The WBA gold world vacant. WBA super is vacant. So there's no champion for the WBA at 126 for the real belt. It's vacant currently right now. According to this, the WBA is vacant. The IBF world champion is by Luis Lopez. The WBA is vacant. The WBC world champion is Vargas. And I believe that the WBO, because the WBO got a fucking WBO Global, WBO Interim, and another WBO, and it's Ramirez. Ramirez is the WBO. So right now, currently there are 3 real champions in the 126. So the only real 3 champions is Lopez. What the fuck? I lost it again with my Vargas, Lopez, and Vargas, and then Ramirez. That's it. So those are the guys that at 126 that have belts, and there is 1 vacant belt. So if Naoya Inoue was to beat Tapales at 122, closing out this year, by then somebody should be fighting for the WBA vacant title. if they don't have anybody fighting for the vacant title, Naoya Inoue can slide right into the division fighting for the WBA vacant title. He can fight any opponent. If he wants to challenge anybody else, I don't see anybody else there at 126 stopping him. And I don't think that Brandon Figueroa is going to put his WBC interim world title up against Naoya Inoue. I'm sorry, but Naoya Inoue doesn't fight for interim titles. That was an inside joke. So anyway, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't see anybody at 126 stopping him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see any super fights. It just doesn't make dollars and cents. And I keep wanting to enter this point, and somehow I don't know why it evades my mind. That's exactly why I was saying that Naoya Inoue could jump over 126 and go right into 130. That is my whole point right there. Thank you for bringing that up, because there is no one at 126. There is no superstar there that's going to give him that kind of fight. You see? Now at 130, Foster has power, right? That's a big fight. That could be a good fight right there. Hector Luis Garcia, the one that fought against Tank Davis, the Dominican fighter, he's got a buzz and he's got a big following too. You know what I'm saying? He could fight him. You know what I'm saying? The WBO champion is Emmanuel, the Mexican. That Mexican. That is a good fighter right there too. So you got way bigger superstars at 130 than you have at 126 for Naoya Inoue. But if he was looking to make history and fuck dollars and cents, he could fucking clean out the 126 and be a 3-division one. Yo. Oh my God. If he wasn't looking for super mega fights and he just wanted to clean that division, he can go to 126. There are no guards. The 126 division, there's no guards at the door. They're all sleeping. The safe is open. He can go right in there, invade their castle, take all their belts and leave. There's no one there to stop him. But if he goes to 130, he'll have a lot harder time. Now, that's where I'm not joking around. That's where you better put some respect on those dudes' name at 130. Foster and them dudes, and they're some big men. That's some big guys right there. Now I would be talking crazy. I would be talking out the side of my neck if Naoya Inoue can jump just right from 122 and walk into 130 and just walk through that division. I would have to see that before I said that, bro. He would have to even listen. Every single time he moves up and knocks everybody out, I'm in awe. I'm like this. I'm like, see, I told you. I try to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised, but it would be remarkable. And man, holy shit, man, that would be something else. For a man to start his career at 108 pounds. Let's think about this. Naoya Inoue started his career at 108 pounds. For God's sake, he moved up. What was it? What did he do? He went from 108 to 112. From 112, he skipped over divisions and he hopped right into 118. That was his third weight division. He just conquered his... Yes, that's how he did it. That's exactly how he did it. He went from 108 to 112, from 112. But the important thing to keep in mind that he won real world titles as he was moving along in each division. So now here we are. He's in his fourth weight division and he's already got 2 of the belts. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's a big one right there. Him going to 130 and cleaning that out. But if he was to make a stop at 126, unfortunately, that's when we start talking crazy talk. I like to refer it as crazy talk. 3 weight divisions, 4 belts. That's crazy talk. Stop that. That is crazy. Yo, man, that's insane to think about. But like I said in the beginning of this video, yeah, man, a lot of powers that be are putting out a lot of big mega fights, and champions are signing to fight champions. And before I looked up, there were so many people with all four belts. You were like, holy shit. It was like an explosion. Everyone just wanted to fight everyone for belts, you know, and soon everyone had all four belts. Canelo Alvarez, the Charlo twins, Devin Haney, freaking Naoya Inoue, freaking Usyk got the four. He's got three. Usyk, and then Tyson Fury got the one, but he needs that to make. They need to unite it. But there were so many belts, so many guys with four belts. So that's why it's starting to, like, I'm starting to really say to myself, man, maybe it's not as hard as it used to be to try to get this done. Maybe it's not. So we'll see. Listen, shout out to all the people watching the stream. I had fun. This has been great. You know, if you guys want me to stream tomorrow again at 5, we could do that, or I'll stream maybe 3 times a week, and we could talk about it. You know, we can go on, and thank you for being, hey, thank you for liking and subscribing. Yeah, there was a lot we had to talk about. I have to read all these messages now because I didn't have my sidekick with me today, because he's actually commenting when he should be over here doing his job, and he should have been on time. So I need to talk. It's hard to get some good help around here, okay? And you're on the stream, so I see you watching, all right? So you needed to be here, all right? So listen. Love you guys, fight fans. That's all I got for you today. And we're on to the next one. On the next one. Wait a minute, before I go, let me read your comments and see if anything you guys want to say real quick. So why do you think currently he is found at 126? Yeah, Savage. Now you listen. Yeah. Tasteless guy, what's up, my man? Naoya by just under Crawford in the pound for pound list. Yes, yeah, Crawford is on top right now. I mean, that was a big accomplishment. I got to remember. Yeah. Those are. Look, I agree with you. I got to remember, right? Better last fight was probably interesting. Forgot what type of guy. What was the guy's name? What the fuck, dude? John Ryder. I'm on. Yeah, 175 had too much guys not known that. Yeah. Arthur Benavides is a guy like that. Arthur Benavides, the Canadian fighter. He fights out of, I think, Russian or whatever, but they got him listed as his flag as a Canadian. He has all 3 belts, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if he just unified all belts too as well. You know what I mean? We have a source of encyclopedia right here. I have everything I need right here. So Arthur Benavides right here. Yeah, well, it's saying he's only has 3 belts, and Demetrius Bivol has the other one. Demetrius Bivol has the WBA super belt. So they got to fight, and then Arthur Benavides can unify all 4 belts. The Charlo, he has those. In the middleweight division, yeah. Jamar Charlo, he is the WBC champion. That's it. And then Jamel Charlo, he has all the belts right under and light middleweight. and then welterweight is Terence Crawford. So, I hope you guys had fun. I enjoyed it. I'm on to the next one. Peace. Still streaming here.